Actress Patricia Heaton, mostly known for Everybody Loves Raymond, went on social media and made a great point. Check this out.
Hey friends, I just have been in Israel for a week, and I'll tell you all about that later. But I saw the results of the election, which is very good for the Jewish people. And I've also seen a lot of the response videos, especially from women who are crying, screaming, shaving their heads, saying they're going to be jailed or rounded up or killed or hunted or whatever they're... Let me tell you, I've been to the kibbutzim where women and babies and families were captured and killed and slaughtered and stolen. You're fine here. You're going to be fine. Don't worry about it. Secondly, to whatever groups, whatever media, whatever pundits, all these extremists that are allowed television time who told women that this is what is going to happen to them, shame on you. Shame on you. Apparently there's some really vulnerable people here who you targeted and you fear-mongered to, and you need to go back on the air and tell them things are going to be okay and tell them that they're fine.
Now, we know the legacy media will never go on the air and say that everything is going to be fine. And it's because they're the mouthpieces for the Democrat Party. And the Democrat Party's #1 political tactic is fear-mongering. So no, they're not going to tell their constituents or viewers that it's going to be okay. But it's actually worse than you think. Listen to what Democrat Katie Porter, a congressman from California, said on the news about how scared her daughter is that Trump won the election.
I went to pick up my daughter from water polo practice, and she's 12, and she got in the car and she was crying. And I said, did someone punch you? Like, water polo is a rough sport. I was like, did someone hit you? Did the coach yell at you? What happened? And she said, Mom, Trump won. Trump's going to win. And what if I get raped and I need to have an abortion? This is from a 12-year-old, my 12-year-old daughter. And so it was really a reminder of how scary this time is for people, and how important it is for Democrats to have strategies, both at the state level and the federal level, to make sure that we can continue to protect people's rights.
Imagine being a person in her position, letting your own 12-year-old daughter live in fear. It's madness. And I guess I shouldn't say letting your own daughter live in fear, because what the congressman is actually doing is putting that fear in her preteen daughter. That's how far the left are willing to go on fear-mongering. And her fear wasn't that she would be raped. She fears not being able to abort a baby if she gets pregnant due to being raped. Katie Porter told this story as an example of how scared people are about Trump being elected again, not realizing that it's actually an example of how horrible of a parent she is, and that their fear-mongering has real-world consequences, consequences felt by the most vulnerable around us. Forget about the election for a second. Think about the issue that Democrats talk more about than any other: climate change. Right now, there are millions of young Americans who have what's been named climate anxiety. Here's how that's explained by Psychology Today. Some individuals, especially adolescents and young adults, struggle with what has been dubbed climate anxiety, ongoing feelings of fear, guilt, and grief related to environmental changes caused by climate change. Let me stop you right there. These young people have ongoing feelings of fear, guilt, and grief because Democrats are scaring the crap out of them. It continues. For many, eco-anxiety can feel overwhelming because the problem of climate change is large, complex, and unlikely to be solved with individual actions alone. Some report feeling despair at the perceived unwillingness of governments or society as a whole to take meaningful action to stop climate catastrophe. Still, there are things individuals can do to better manage their anxiety. I'll tell you one thing that individuals can do to better manage their anxiety, and that's to stop listening to Democrats and their media mouthpieces. Now, while I was reading articles for this video, I came across a study that used a phrase that I'd never heard before, but I bet young people in school and colleges hear it all the time. The current evidence base focuses predominantly on young people's experience of PTSD, depression, or anxiety, mainly following exposure to singular climate change-related natural disaster events. So they're now referring to natural disasters as being climate change related. which means young people will be indoctrinated into believing that every natural disaster is due to climate change. But of course, the very people who are scaring the children about rising sea levels keep buying houses on the beach, while the kids who are convinced by their fear-mongering are carrying the weight of the world on their shoulders. Their fear-mongering is so out of control that Democrats are willing to scare the crap out of their own children to gain political power. And that's the disgusting, simple truth. Hey guys, thanks for watching. And if you all want to support this channel, check out the links in the description, and let's keep putting some common sense back into the great debate.